Hey guys, it's Animal Life World, from aquatic creatures that can inject you with the slightest touch to ones that will get you without you even realizing it. Join me as I reveal 12 of the most venomous.
Number 12.
Flower urchin. It's a common misconception that the world is only full of mobile things that can hurt you. But there are plenty of immobile things that can hurt you too, for as many swimmers and divers have made note of over the years. One thing you absolutely have to look out for is this sea urchin. The sea urchin is easily one of the most deceptive things out there, for sometimes you don't even notice it, and then you step in the wrong place and you feel its spines going through your foot, your leg, your arm, or whatever it may be relative to your position. What might be more terrifying than the sea urchin, though, is the flower urchin. For this very special sea urchin has a skill all its own, and that skill is the ability to leave bits of itself in your body, and those remaining bits will pump deadly poison into you on their own. There are some sea urchins that are toxic, but the flower urchin is the worst of the bunch. It has toxins like contract and a witch. Number 11.
Blue-Ringed Octopus.
There are many octopi in the oceans, and all of them are dangerous in one form or another, but one that is easily separated from the others is the blue-ringed octopus. For not only is it a master of camouflage, but it has one of the most deadly toxins in the world, tetrodotoxin. If this toxin sounds familiar, it's because it's the same poison that can be found in pufferfish, as well as the infamous poison dart frog. When it's just trying to get by in the water, it'll blend in with the environment and hide
in plain sight.
Then when it gets threatened, it'll turn its skin yellow and reveal the blue rings that give it its name, and lash out at those foolish enough to get in its space. Tetrodotoxin is incredibly potent and is able to kill a human.
Number 10.
Portuguese man-o'-war. The Portuguese man-o'-war is a very special type of ocean creature, mainly because it's commonly referred to as a jellyfish when actually it's not. A jellyfish is a single organism that acts on its own brain, while the Portuguese man-of-war is a colonial organism, one that is made up of multiple species known as zooids or polyps. They work together to move around, eat, and even attack animals and people. To that end, the Portuguese man-o'-war is something that most people try to avoid, but sometimes fail to do so. Every year about 10,000 people are stung by the Portuguese man-of-war, but what makes them arguably more dangerous is not their toxin, which can be fatal. In
Number 9.
Pufferfish. In case you don't know, the pufferfish has a toxin that is feared all over the world. Tetrodotoxin. When calm, the pufferfish looks just like a regular fish, but when
threatened or spooked,
it'll inflate itself into its ball form. When that protrudes a bunch of spikes meant to ward off prey. The problem, though, is if you eat it, the fear of the pufferfish is so grand that it's full-on illegal to bring these fish into most of the countries of the world. The reason for this is that, well, yes, you can't eat the fish, you have to know how to do it without leaving any of the poison in it as you cook it, and that's hard to do. In fact, only certain chefs in Japan are skilled enough to do it regardless. This number 8, but first be sure to subscribe if you're new here and click that notification bell while you're at it. It's free. Number 8. Lionfish. The lionfish is a very curious species in the oceans, mainly because its massive body in terms of its protruding fins make it very hard to miss, which is kind of the point. The lionfish is one of the most deadly creatures in the ocean, and it does not try to hide this fact. Its fins are incredibly toxic and able to kill all sorts of life in the oceans, but that same toxin can do incredible damage to humans as well. Just on the base level, getting stung by them will inject their toxins into the body and cause extreme pain, nausea, vomiting, fever, breathing difficulties, convulsions, though these cases are rare.
Number 7.
Cuttlefish. When you hear the name cuttlefish, it sounds like a rather kind, aquatic creature, but when you see it in real life, you might be left scratching your head, especially when you hear it is indeed toxic. The cuttlefish is without a doubt one of the most unique creatures under the sea. Notice that I say it's not a fish because it's not. It's actually a mollusk, and one that is very closely related to both octopuses and squids. Believe it or not, this relationship is due to the arms and tentacles on the front of its body, which is actually how the poison within is administered, not via the arms but via a beak, which octopuses and squids also have, that bites down on the prey caught in the arms and then injects the poison. The poison itself is very fast-acting, including ensuring a good and quick kill. However, should you find a cuttlefish on your journeys underwater, you won't have to fear them as much as other fish will, because the toxin they have within them actually doesn't affect human beings all.
Number 6.
Cone snails. Snails are thought of as very small and very slow creatures, and thus not very harmful to things like human beings, but the cone snail is a killer through and through. This is because of its unique toxin and how it administers it. This is the snail to rush at you and attack you, or bite you to get poison in you rather. The cone snail has the ability to launch a harpoon at you with such deadly toxin. It's potent enough to kill 20 men with a single drop. What might shock you even more is that the cone snail can project these harpoons in all directions. There's no limit to its range in regard to location due to its size. Its threat level is arguable, however larger versions of the cone snail have been.
Number 5.
Barracuda. There are many different types of deadly when it comes to creatures of the ocean, and barracudas are without a doubt one of the most dangerous things in the ocean today for a whole host of reasons. For example, the creature is a massive 6 feet in length on average, which makes it taller than the average adult human. If you were to put them next to one another, then when you look at its mouth, you'll see that the creature has a massive set of teeth, which feature both large and small teeth. For various purposes, it'll hook you with those massive front ones, and then you'll rip you to bits with the smaller ones that fill the rest of the mouth. Now, most of you likely don't know that barracudas are venomous, and that's because they are. And they aren't. On one hand, barracudas are not naturally poisonous like many other creatures of the sea or ocean. However, they do have the ability to become poisonous via tetrodotoxin. This toxin can be very harmful to humans in the right amounts. So how do they have venom if they're not naturally venomous?
Number 4.
Lion's mane jellyfish. The lion's mane jellyfish is one of the longest creatures on the face of this earth, and is the largest jellyfish on earth. Just the body, called the bell, is known to be 7 feet long, but that's just one part of it. The other part, the part that makes it abnormally large, is the tentacles. Each lion's mane jellyfish can technically have up to 1,000 tentacles on it, and sometimes it can have even more. They're tied up in clusters, 8 of them, with 150 tentacles per. As for how long they go, these things can reach up to 190 feet in length, so in a way you need to look out for not just the body but which direction it's going, so the tentacles don't reach out and touch you. As for the venom of their stings, they aren't usually deadly, but because of their long, literally happen at any time.
Number 3.
Sea snakes. The sea snakes are easily one of the most amazing yet curious snake species in the world right now, mainly because they're from the same family. You will find cobras and coral snakes, but the vast majority of these snakes live underwater and have completely adapted to marine life in such a way that going onto land is fatal. Outside one particular species, to be clear. Just as interesting is that there are 69 confirmed species of sea snake, and every single one of them is extremely venomous and can cause lots of damage to people. One of them in the form of the belcher sea snake is thought of to be one of, if not the most venomous snake in the world. Other species have venoms that are 10 times more potent than that of cobras. That being said, the sea snakes are legendary for only using their venom on prey, not foes that might try to eat them. But how do they protect themselves then? You might ask. They have other evolutionary tendencies and traits that let them go beyond using their venom. The yellow-lipped secret, for example, is one sea snake that has a brightly colored body on one end and then a black head.
Number 2. Box jellyfish. There are
many ways to describe the pain of a bite, especially when it has venom pouring into your body, but when it comes to the box jellyfish, one victim actually went very poetic about it. All your heart strains too hard, and so with the rest of your body, every nerve ending alerts you in the matter most suited to it that you are being attacked. Only your consciousness works well or well enough to remind you you're just alive. It always obeys pain. You make rash decisions as fear takes control. You miss your last allies. Strengthen hope as the neurotoxin enters your body and introduces consciousness to absolute pain. Aside from the pain, the power of the venom of the box jellyfish is capable of killing you within 5 minutes of the sting if not treated properly, making it a race against time to get cured before it's too late.
Number 1.
Stonefish. The stonefish is almost unquestionably the most venomous fish on the planet, and one of its key physical attributes is that it likes to camouflage itself into its environment. So at times you'll never see it coming until it's too late. But it's not just the fear of not seeing it you should be worrying about. The venom should also terrify you. It's not only lethal depending on how much you get. It's one of the most painful toxins in the world. People who've gotten stung by it are known to beg for their limbs to be taken off just so the pain would stop. That's true pain that can only be delivered by a toxin that is meant to kill. And then some, as noted. It loves tobe on the floor of the oceans it's on, and it'll just blend in with the natural plant life and inanimate objects, and then just wait. And then when something steps on it, it'll strike with its 13 poison-filled spines. But there's a problem with that too. The other reason that stonefish are so feared is that they don't live in the depths of the ocean. They actually prefer very shallow waters, thus making them very like to be found by people on beaches or those who take light dives into shallow areas. There is good news though. Sure to subscribe before you go, and I'll see you in the next video.